Hey. All right, so y'all, I have got a stack of projects that just need some finishing touches. Y'all come on and hang out with me while we knock some of this out, because I will not allow myself to start another project until some of this gets at least put up or put away. Like put up as far as put on the door or put away in storage. But we got to finish it before we put any of this away. I do have some things that need to go out, like client-wise, but let's put some of this other stuff away that I know is just going to go up, okay? So I've got sealer, I've got hangers, I've got garlands that need to be put together. So we're just going to drill, seal, and gossip. Let's do it, girls. Let's do it. All right. So as you hop on, say hey. Tell me that you're here. Let me pull up my live because, you know, Facebook be doing the most sometimes. All right, there we go. I've got comments. I can see you. So let's start with Paint Studio stuff. I need to finish some of that stuff. It's all been painted. It just needs to be sealed and drilled, okay? So in the Paint Studio, I got a little smudge on there. In the Paint Studio, we painted this little bunny home, and we learned how to do gold glitter without it shedding. So see, look, no glitter. No glitter, okay? So we did it in our flowers. We did it in our polka dots. I even taught them how to do polka dots with, this was loose glitter, y'all. And it wasn't like I had to pour it. There was no pouring involved. I hate pouring glitter because you got to find a way to get it back in. And then we made an attachment. Again, we added some glitter. How fun is that? We did our garland. Here's our garland piece. Again, the glitter. So we have multiple pieces that get strung, and I'll probably hang that on my mantle. And then today we did a Monday mini tutorial, and we took the same template for this, same size and everything, and we turned it into a mini craft project. So we did that today. So this is done. I don't need to do anything to this. I absolutely love, I might put a hanger on it. I might put a hanger on it so that I can hang it up maybe on the wall, on my gallery wall. I have a spot on my gallery wall where I add like seasonal things. And I think that's what that's gonna, for Easter. All right, let me see, where are my comments? All right, so let's get to sealing. My sealer is right here behind my glue tool. I have my hot glue right here. We were using it like crazy this morning. I also need some scrap paper because I don't want to get any sealer on my workspace. And then I need a brush that I dedicate just to sealing. So I've got that. And then I would normally use my paint palette, but I have wet paint on it, so I don't want to do that. So I think I'm just gonna go rogue and just pour it on my project. I really don't like doing that. But my glitter is sealed in. I'm not really worried about it shedding or spreading because the technique that we learned this month in the Paint Studio was making sure that glitter stays put where we put it, okay? So there's one. This part goes fast. Hey, Marie. What up, yo? What you doing? What you doing, girl? Where you been? What were you doing? What were you just doing? Were you just hanging out with me over in the studio? Some of these girls, we were literally just hanging out and pouring our hearts out to one another over our carrot that we were making. Y'all, I'm telling you, there's something about the Paint Studio. When I say that we're a family, it is literally a family. I feel like I go deeper in some conversations with them than I do with my actual family. Like we were pouring our hearts out. I love it. It makes my day that we feel like it's so safe in there that everybody just is comfortable to share the intimate. All right, there's piece number 3. There's 6 pieces to this. normally when I make a garland, and over in the studio, when we paint these, we paint a 6-piece garland. So we paint a door hanger, an attachment, and a 6-piece garland. They all coordinate, so they could be a 3-piece set. Or you can paint them differently, like different color schemes, different techniques. Again, this has glitter on it, and it's not budging. Not one speck of glitter. It has moved from where I put it. Now, the trick to that is letting it dry completely. I'm only using a drop or two of this sealer on this. And I'm going both north and south, east and west. I want to make sure I'm getting good coverage. I normally wait till it's completely dry before I do different brush strokes. But these are really small pieces. I'm not too worried about it. Let's see. Last piece. Good morning, Sherry. You know that. I'm sealing my project I finished. So during this, while we were making our carrot, Marie was working on a project that she had been needing to finish. And that was one of the goals of our live today over in the studio. It's just what I call some co-working hours, where I hop on, I do a quick little mini non-door hanger related project while you either work at work with some headphones in, or while you do the dishes, or like Marie, she worked on some projects in her craft room. All right, so next up on the agenda, our attachment. I'm probably gonna put this on my porch leaner at an angle. I think it'll be, like, we could put it this way and it'll look just fine, but I'm a fan of catty corner. And just look how the light catches that gold just around the edge. I love it. Again, this is not going to spread any glitter whatsoever. We're just gonna seal it. So I know I talk about the studio a lot, but I don't really showcase a lot of what we do over there. So I needed to finish these up, so I thought, hey, do it while my friends are online too. Maybe they need a lunch date. Maybe they need a lunch date. I know when I was working a 9 to 5, a lot of times I would hop on and watch a live while I ate my lunch, or while I was waiting to go to lunch, because you know nobody wants to start a project at work 10 minutes before the lunch bell rings, right? While I'm working at the school, I can't do that because, you know, children. But when I was at the law office, that's what I would do. Look how pretty. And look, that glitter didn't budge. And it doesn't dull down. I don't know if anybody else has the problem of when you put loose glitter on a piece and then you go to seal it, it almost makes the glitter look dull. It's not as shiny and like glittery. With this technique that we learned in the studio, it doesn't do that. See how glittery? It has the exact same sheen as it did before I sealed it. All right, y'all, here's the big one. Here's the big one. Here's the door hanger again. Look at the doorknob that we did. It's glittered too. I don't know why I did that. I was like, you know what? Seems like a good idea. Before I do that, let me blow dry some of these garland pieces and get them out of the way so I can lay my door hanger down. While I do that, I'll catch up on some comments. So what, is anybody at work about to go to lunch? Anybody at home working on some projects, getting some co-working hours in? Here we go. Just want to make sure these are dry before I stack them, because I'm about to just stack them. I think after this, I'm gonna run to Sam's and grab me a rotisserie chicken. I think it's rotisserie chicken Monday. I think that's how we're gonna roll today for dinner. We're gonna do chicken and broccoli, and the kids like rice, so I think we're gonna throw some rice on the side and a side salad. I think that's tonight's menu. Mondays are the hardest for me to kind of plan dinner. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the weekend is so sporadic as far as food goes, because sometimes we'll go out to eat after church. Sometimes we'll Graham grills, and so it throws my routine of cooking every day off. All right, so I'm just putting some bottles down on their side to act as risers so that I don't get any sealer on my work surface. It is one of my biggest pet peeves to get just like the ghost of projects past, or like this outline of sealer on my work surface. Like this is plexiglass that I have down protecting my tablecloth that I have that I just absolutely adore. And so like I hate cleaning it. I mean, for lack of being, you know, let's be honest, I just hate cleaning it. So I want to lay this down so that it's raised up, so it's minimal cleanup time afterwards. Like if I get a little splatter here or there, that's fine. I don't have to like deep clean this thing as often as if it was just laying on my work surface. So I'm going to make sure that I've got all the little dust bunnies off of it. I've got one little thumbprint smudge on the side from when I touched it with a smudgy finger. Probably had some black paint on my hand. Okay, see, it was smudgy. I don't really get that too persnickety about certain things, but this background is white, and so white is just going to show all the problems. All right, so we've got our sealer brush, just a nice this is really called a wash brush. It's a flat brush, but it's got longer bristles, and so it seals really nice. And then I'm putting my sealer down. You don't need a lot. And then I'm going to go in sections because it does dry fast. Look, all that prep work, and I still got a little Romo hair in my project. It's okay. Seal it. And before you go to put that second sealer on, take your finger and rub over it, and it'll loosen it up. But it's got to be dry first before you do that. All right, so I'm just going to, I know where the Romo hair came from. It was from my brush. I used my paint towel. And sometimes there's just little fuzzies in my paint towel. I used it to dry it off. See, it's already, this side is already trying to dry. So I'm going to stop trying to manipulate it, and I'm going to move on to another section. So a couple of drops up here. I literally just kind of splatter a couple of drops. I do have paint pen on this, so I'm not going to want to over manipulate it too much until that paint pen gets sealed in. I have learned if I let the paint pen cure overnight, it does better with a brush-on sealer than if you were to try to seal it right then and there. It kind of gives it time to cure and not get reactivated by the wetness of your sealer. All right. But you don't want to go over it too much. You don't want to reactivate it and make it wet until you get that first layer of sealer down. It'll just help reduce some of the smears. All right, we're going to let that dry. Everything else is done being base coated. This one's going to require 2 coats just because it's a bigger surface. I like to go north and south. And then when that layer is dry, I'll go east and west. And that typically gives me the best coverage possible. I'm not going to get any missed spots. If I do, it's going to be minimal. With a brush on sealer, you kind of have to be careful. Let me catch up on some comments here. I see some chatter. Hey, Nicole, you're at work and at lunch. Working on some attachments for an upcoming craft show. Sherry is she is my craft show queen. She's my craft show friend. Every time I catch her, she's working on a craft show. Her and her sister both. And it's your sister, or is it your sister-in-law? Correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say it's your sister, right? Y'all do it together. My brush was dirty and tainted my sealer. Oh no, Maria, you worked so hard on that. I hit my Posca pen with the heat tool Oh, Marie says if she's in a pinch and she needs it to dry right now, she just hits that Posca pen with a heat tool, and that helps her from having to that saves her from leaving it overnight to cure. That's what I thought. I was going to say, you just told me in the other live that you were an only daughter. So I was like, no, she's got a sister. I know she got a sister. Sister-in-law. I've got a sister-in-law that's like that. Like, she's part of the sister. She's one of our sisters. In fact, I like her more than Sarah sometimes. And you can tell Sarah I said that. Sarah's my sister. She's my biological sister. But my sister-in-law, Jess, she married my baby brother. And there are times I like her better than Sarah. I tell her that all the time. I tell Sarah to her face. Sometimes I just tell Sarah to make her mad. All right. So I was blow drying this one spot that I told you had a Romo hair. And I'm just taking my finger and I'm just rubbing over it before I put a second coat of sealer on. It's just the thinnest little layer of sealer. Uh-oh. Talk about your brush being tainted. Look at that orange paint. I accidentally dipped this brush in orange earlier. Accidentally while we were making our carrot. So just for precaution, out of precaution, I am going to wash that one last time before we do our second coat. All right, so I got one more little fuzzy. You just take your finger and you just rub it. That's why I love it. This is the lightest layer of sealer. So if you do get like a little, just a little fuzzy in there, it's the easiest cleanup, but you got to catch it before you put that second layer on. Okay. Out of precaution, we are going to do a quick once over with the blow dryer, okay? Because those ears I did very last, and I can't really tell if they're shiny or not because it's a glossy sealer. I told my cousin if he ever divorced, I'm keeping his wife in my... It's like, we keep her in the divorce. I have a friend that's done that. It's just like, look, I love my brother, but I liked his wife more. So they still invite the ex-wife to all the kids' birthday parties. And I think it's great people watching. It's awesome. Like, I'm a people watcher. Go to a restaurant and you just watch the people living their lives around you. Great people watching. Me and my dad, we can go to lunch and not say a word to each other because we are fully entertained just watching everybody else in the restaurant. Oh, Marie said, oh, and the boo says, hey, Becca Boo. We made a carrot without you. I'm sorry. Your mom didn't go get you. Blame your mom. Oh, no, I did smear a little bit. I smeared just the teeniest, tiniest little bit, but you'll never notice it. If I were to put a bow on this, I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it right here. We might put a bow on this. I don't know. We might. For anybody who was in our live over in the studio this morning when we were making our carrot, this is what we made. Look how cute. We did have a few of these left over, and I know I'm a stickler for not saving the scraps. Where I draw the line is greenery. Greenery is expensive. I save those scraps because this right here, I could do 1, 2, 3, 4 ornaments out of that. That right there, I'll get 4 ornaments out of that. I also saved this, and again, I'll probably get 2 or 3 ornaments out of that. Like, that's money, and that's expensive. The greenery is probably where, if I'm going to use greenery, that's the most expensive part of projects sometimes. She says, that's okay. She'll watch the replay. Yes, we're training our next generation. All right, second coat. Second burst, same as the first. Okay, so if you're noticing, I'm doing from the glitter down. Okay. Let's spread it out. I'm going to do east and west. I'm really just focusing it on the edges because when I do miss, it's 9 times out of 10, it's the edges that I missed. It's from lifting my brush up too early. not letting it fully go over the edges. So I might not do a full coverage coat in the center of it. I'll just do a clean up my brush stroke kind of situation. Go over the glitter a little bit. Again, this glitter is not budging because that's what we learned in the studio this month, was how to get glitter to not shed. Okay, I taught them a technique on how to get your glitter on your pieces and keep it on your pieces. Okay, again, just kind of smearing this around, getting all that. I've done a lot of Easter egg pieces over the years. This one has to be one of my favorite. It's just so cute. It's like the best of both worlds. It's a bunny, it's an Easter egg, it's a birdhouse. Like, birdhouses are some of my favorite little, and I mean, it's a birdhouse without being a birdhouse. It's not like your typical A-frame birdhouse shape. It's shaped like an Easter egg. It's just it's too cute. It's too cute for words. It just made me happy. After designing it, I was like, oh, it's so cute. I need a sticker. I need it in a sticker. All right, there we go. Ears are double sealed. Okay, still wet. Look at it. Oh, in all its shiny glory. Look at those flowers. They've got glitter in them too. All right. Gonna commit this to water because everything's sealed now. Everything is sealed. We're gonna let everything dry. Uh-oh, I lost my live. Oh no, I can't see comments. Oh, there goes my stomach. That's how I know lunch is almost here. Lunch is almost here because my stomach is telling me. Hello, where am I at? There we are. Oh. You need what as a sticker? I can make it. Maria, I just need a lot of stickers. I love stickers. I mean, how cute is that? How cute would that be as a sticker? The bunny house would be a cute little sticker. I feel like our carrot would be a cute little sticker. It'd be a cute little set. Be a cute little set. Okay. I accept stickers. I accept them. All right, just blow drying so that we don't get any fingerprints in it. The one thing about sealer is you never know when it's dry just by looking at it. You know, with our acrylic paints, they're matte. So whenever they dry, they go from glossy to matte because the paint when it's wet is glossy and when it's dry it turns matte. But that is not the case for sealer. So, let me grab my Expo marker. That's how I clean up my edges. I don't like painting my edges because I don't have that kind of time. But I do like to have nice, clean edges. And so I use an Expo marker to go around the edges to kind of give it that, even if it's not a laser cut piece, like if you cut it out with a jigsaw, if you go over it with an Expo marker, it kind of gives it a faux lasered edge look. If I were to paint the edges, I would want to paint each edge the exact same color as what's in the front. And I ain't got that kind of time. All right, there we go. That's good enough. We'll just seal, we'll do the edges on that one last. Let it air dry a little bit. Let's venture back to our garland. So here's our garland. Clean up our workspace. All we're gonna do is we're just gonna swipe this around, okay? So if you're on your lunch break, what are you eating? Because my stomach is growling. I just got the stuff last night to make stickers. I can totally make them as a sticker sheet. What? Stop it. All right, I want to show y'all. Let me find a good example. Oh, this one's a great example. Okay, so do you see all that messy paint on the edge? All right, this was a laser cut piece. Okay, so it's typically a darker edge. Do you see how we cleaned that up and it's all one color now? I use the Expo marker because Expo marker is permanent except for on a whiteboard. You know, as long as it's, I can hear Romo snoring over there. As long as it's like a porous, see, just kind of cleans it up. I do it to every piece that I have. I don't like messy edges. I don't judge anybody for having messy edges. Look, to each their own. I know not everybody's got the time to clean them edges up. I know sometimes done is done. I totally support the done is done method. Like, just get it done. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it done. I totally support the done is done method. But for me and my art, we're going to clean up the edges. But I don't judge anybody for any who don't. I'm not going to paint the backs, though. Those backs are going to be messy. That's where I draw the line. Some people paint the backs, and they probably judge me for my messy backs. But, you know, it's a beautiful, crafty world out there, and we accept all shapes, sizes, and levels of doneness. You know what song just popped in my head as I was saying that? I don't know how it relates, but have you ever heard the Ray Stevens song, Everything is Beautiful? It's one of my mama's favorite songs. I think of her every time I think of it or hear it. But when I was saying that, that's what I was thinking. All right. All right. See, it doesn't take much time to just, and it doesn't, the reason I like Expo markers, you can use a paint pen too, a chunky paint pen. It gives better coverage with a paint pen. These give good enough coverage. The thing that I will pick this 100% over a paint pen is because look at that. That right there doesn't break down. I have done this a million times with the same paint, with the same pen, and it doesn't tear down the chisel tip. I get a nice strong chisel tip, and with a paint pen, it breaks those fibers down, and it eventually gets messy on the top. So after a certain amount of usage, you get that. It's enough to drive me crazy. So we watch and we don't judge. Don't y'all just love that? We listen and we don't judge. I repeat that so much at the house, and the kids get so frustrated about it. They're like, Mom. I'm like, no, it's perfect. I'm going to put it on a sign somewhere. It's going in the kitchen somewhere. We listen and we don't judge. This is a safe zone over here. We accept all flavors of craftiness. All flavors. All right, again, just swiping it real quick. We're not doing like a full, like I gotta cover it all. I gotta make it non-existent. Just giving it just a little bit of help. All right. We still have to do the door hanger. Is it dry? I just don't want fingerprints in my door hanger. Here we're gonna pizza pan it. Gonna pizza pan it. All right. Oh, I think I've already done this. Oh, I may have. I've already done this. I was a good girl when I finished painting it. I'm sitting here going, where's all the paint? I used way too much white paint on this door hanger for there not to be white paint on the sides. I've already cleaned up the edges, so it already has clean edges. And they're not perfect. They're not perfect. But, you know, the back, I'm not painting the back just because there's a little bit of paint on there. It's hand painted. It's hand painted and it shows. Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side. This is going to get industrial Velcro. This is going to get strung. I have different ways I like to string hangers. We'll do the garland probably not first. I don't want to say last because I don't know that I'm going to do it last. But we're going to do the door hanger first. Okay. We're going to use twine. And I'm going to staple it off. Okay. I have pre-cut twine to door hanger size. It's about 1.5 feet. 1.5 feet is the good sweet spot for pretty much all door hangers that I make. Sometimes I can cut it in half and that'd be good enough. And I think this one is getting cut in half. Sometimes I need a longer piece, and 1.5 feet is the longest that I need. So I'm either trimming it a little or I'm cutting it in half. So this one got cut in half. And the half goes back in the bag. I need my staple tool. I don't like to say the G-U-N word, okay? Not on lives, because I feel like God help us. Watch it. One of these days, that's going to be one of the hot words, and all the lives are going to get taken down because I either use this or this, and they're thinking I'm talking about a pew-pew. So I try to say tool when I need to say that word. So if it bothers anybody, or if someone thinks that I don't know what they're really called, I'm just trying to avoid it. All right, I'm making sure everything is bone dry before I flip this thing over. Now, if you're wondering where I like to hang it, this is symmetrical. So I mean, this one's easy. I'm just gonna put like a here and here, but on the back, okay? That's where I'm gonna staple it, here and here, okay? Put on the back. But if this was like an odd shape, I'd just kind of hold it up to where it's even and where my fingers are. That, because no matter how I hang it on the door, I can straighten it up to this. Especially if I use wire. Twine is the one that gets kind of iffy. All right, so I'm going to do... You want wherever you're... So you see how this is hanging off the edge of my table? You want wherever you're stapling to be flat on a surface, okay? You don't want it hanging off. Let me make sure I have staples in here. I do. Okay. Does anybody see where my twine went? Stand by. Did anybody see where I put it? Oh, it's right here. And I'm just going, well, I said I was going to put it at the very tip top. I'm going to bring it in just a little bit. Now that I see that, I don't like it. I am going to save that for something else. Let me get another 1.5 foot one. This is one of those where before I tied the knots, it was one length. Okay, so 1.5 foot, right? I'm going to cut off about 6 inches. So about a foot. About a foot. That, throw it away. It's scrap. We have plenty of twine. Throw it away. You don't know exactly what you're using it for, and we have plenty in our stash to cut another 6. Throw it away. Could you use it for an ornament? Absolutely. Do you have plans to make an ornament in the next couple days? No. No. Throw it away. I am pro throw it away this year, okay? You're going to hear me say it all year long. Throw it away. Unless you know that you're going to use it in the next project or two, throw it away. Unless it's something substantial and expensive like greenery, throw it away. Throw it away. I'm saying that so I hear it, because I'm the worst about just saving all the scraps. And now I have a shed full of scraps that has gotten out of hand. All right, I like to put I like to brace this part on top of the knot. All right, so I've got my knot right here, okay? The free edge of my twine, and I like to put it right there on top of the knot to where the knot kind of revs it back just enough. And if I need to hammer it in just a little bit more, then I'm in control of how deep that staple goes, instead of it going all the way through my wood. Because sometimes this wood can be just a smidge thin enough for your 1/4 inch staples to go through. All right, so there we go. I feel like it might need a little bow right here. Y'all tell me if it does. Y'all tell me if we need a bow. Let's vote on a bow. Does it need like a little, like maybe a little bow tie? Does it need a little bow, or should we leave it alone? All right. Now, this could be a wall hanging. This could be a shelf sitter, okay? Just leaned up on a shelf and get some books, some coffee, something cute. This can be my porcelain attachment. And I need some Velcro. I had a whole box of Velcro. Whole box of Velcro. That's the one thing. Oh, don't move, don't move, don't move. That's the one thing that kind of goes missing around here other than scissors. If you were in my live earlier this morning in the paint studio, y'all heard my rant. Okay, so I don't have Velcro, so I would just put industrial strength Velcro on that. And I would put it right there in the center. And I would put like a 2 by 2 inch square. Enough to kind of be able to move it around to get it nice and centered. All right, so that's not going to get there Velcro because I don't know what happened to my Velcro. I'm doing one more little look-see before I just commit to not adding that. I normally have some extra right here, but I cleaned everything up and I may have been a good girl and put it away. So remember that piece that I cut and I was like, I don't want to use that. We're going to put it on this and make it a hanger for this. I'm going to untie one of these knots. Or actually, how much of a, yeah, I'm just going to cut one of the knots off. Instead of ruining my nails trying to get twine untwined. Try it with, okay, so Marie says bow. Hey, Cindy, let it go to the trash can you must throw. All right, so I've got one that doesn't have a knot, one that does, okay? And I'm just going to cut a hole on the back of this. In fact, we learned earlier this morning that our hot glue tool, when it's warm, will make a hole. So I'm going to let that warm up. I'm going to let that warm up. I am going to put this away. I'm done with this. I'm still looking to see if I can see Velcro. I don't know. It's a big old box. I buy it in bulk. That bugs me. It really does bother me because it's the one thing that just disappears around here. Like when scissors go missing, I know where to look for it. It's in Raylan's room. When painter's tape goes missing, it's in Raylan's room. Those are the two things that she tries to like walk off with and make her little crafty concoctions out of. But I don't know what happens to the Velcro. It just disappears. It's fine. It's fine. I know where there's more in my craft storage. That is not Velcro. I keep looking at this one white box saying, oh, there it is. That's not it. Let me move these door hangers here. I knew it was, oh, wait. Stand by. Found it. Velcro, industrial size, strength Velcro. I do not use the scratchy side for my pieces. I use the scratchy side for what it attaches to. I like to use the soft side. About a 2 by 1, 2 by 2, depending on the shape. I'm going to do a 2 by 1. I do save the scratchy sides for paint parties because I usually need extra scratchy for when we're doing multiple interchangeable whatevers. So, fun fact, I do try to spread the awareness of like if you run a crafty business and you do interchangeable things, and if you're not using the actual brand Velcro, do not say Velcro in your listing. It's something I learned. I did not learn it by experience. I learned it by watching someone else go through it. You cannot call it Velcro unless it is Velcro brand. So there are other ways to get around that, but you just can't call it Velcro. No, okay, so Valerie says no bow. Marie says, let's try it with a bow. We don't have to commit. We don't have to commit. We can make the bow. We could. All right, I use the back of my scissors to kind of varnish, brandish. What is it? When you rub something for creasing or like to really get it on in there. Just to rub that adhesive into the grain of the wood. And then I set it off because that adhesive needs to cure. It's just like super glue or anything else. Adhesives of all types need to cure, okay? So don't go attaching it to your base until you've let that cure and oxidize, okay? So I'm gonna set this off to the side. Okay, we're gonna put it right here next. We're gonna make a nice little pack there. All right, okay, I see a little drop of glue coming down, so that means it's hot. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just poke a little hole there, poke a little hole there. Okay. There we go. Nobody's gonna see this hole. Okay, and then I'm gonna turn it off. I'm done with that. And again, this has a knot on it. Already, this does not. We're just making a hanger. And if you're twine, if you're not using wire and you're using twine and your twine doesn't want to stay twined, say that 3 times fast. Put some painter's tape on the edge and make like a shoelace. Just twist it. We're going to do this with the garland too. So it helps make a needle. All right, we're going to just thread it. And then thread it. And like I said, I think I'm either gonna hang this on the handle of my china cabinet, or I'm going to, see, I just want it to be that. I just need something to catch onto a hanger, okay? So I'm gonna tie it up. I just wanna make a little knot. Doesn't need to be a very long hanger, just something to catch on a nail or catch on a handle. Okay, so now that's finished. That project is finished. I still want a little something right there. I just feel like that knot needs to be covered. But look at my little Easter, like my little florally Easter carrot. I love it. I'm just gonna set that there because I don't want to put it on the floor. It's trash. Throw it away. We don't keep all the scraps. We only keep scraps that we have plans for, okay? Burnish. I knew it was close. I was close. I was trying to throw an A where a U should have been. Y'all are great. Marie says, a hook and loop. That was what I would use. I would say a hook and loop. Because that's what Velcro is. It's a hook and loop mechanism. One is hooks, one is loops. And that's how they stick. They're going all in different directions, and that's how they stick really good. But Velcro is the brand, not the product. So, all right, so garland. Let's drill. All right, so when it comes to garlands and drilling, I have a block of wood that's just scrap wood. I like to use that so I don't hurt my table. I've got my drill, and my drill bit's bent. I don't know how that happened. Well, we're not gonna be able to use that one, so let's size is that? A 1/8. Oh, that's one of my favorites. I wonder if I can bend it back. All right. Well, we weren't using that one today anyways. I don't know how that happened. That takes talent. That takes talent. I have a bunch of 1/8, so it's not like 1/8 I feel like comes in every pack. In fact, that's a 1/8. So if I was using twine, if I was using wire, I'd use my 1/8. If I was using twine, I'd probably go 1/4. They're on the side right here. If you're wondering, where are you looking to get that? It's on the side of my drill bits. That was a 1/3. Let it go. Some of these just get so technical. 11/64. Well, I know this isn't my 1/4 because it don't want to come out. 3/16. That means it's never been out of the case. I bet you it's one of these down here. Watch it be one of these that I just threw in here. A 3/16. Another 1/8. 1/4. Okay, let me show you all the difference between a 1/8 and a 1/4. That's a 1/8. And that's a 1/4. They're different. So depending on how big a hole I'm going to need, that's how I determine. 1/8 I typically use for wire, okay? 1/4 I will use if I'm stringing twine through wood, okay? Or if I'm going to do like ribbon or something like that. If I was doing like fabric, we would go, what size are you? What size are you? A 5/16 compared to my 1/4. See, it's chunky. It's chunky. You know, I bet you that drill bit warped from just staying in the drill, and because this is how I store my drill, just standing upright like this. It was just, I bet you it was just from gravity. I don't see how it's not like we had like extreme heat that melted it. I don't know. It's a mystery for another day. I'll figure it out. All right, so there's the drill bits. We're gonna stick this in and we're just gonna drill holes. I'm gonna drill them in here. Oh yeah, see, there's some old holes. I like to do minimum 2 at a time because work smarter, not harder. All right. They don't have to be perfectly aligned. I go slow until I get it a nice little pilot drill. And then I reverse it. I don't try to pull it back while it's still drilling down. Mine has a reverse button. So I get a nice little pilot hole going. And then when I know that it's gone through both layers, I flip it to reverse. Uh-oh. Did you just die on me? Yep, you died on me. Okay. Let's switch. Stay right there. Don't move. That's what I like about Ryobi. The batteries are interchangeable. All right. Oh, I should have known by how slow it was going that it was not in it to win it, that it was almost drained. I should have looked at it before we went live. All right, there we go. Get our mess cleaned up. Now we're gonna do that 2 more times. Okay. There's our holes. Look at it. Oh, that glitter just looks good. Okay. Stack 2. All right. Slow till you get through. You notice I'm not going full speed. Yep. Okay, there's 4. Now here's 5 and 6. Okay. Make sure your little fingers are out of the way. If you're not comfortable with stacking them, do them one at a time. I've just been doing this for a while and I'm comfortable with stacking them. Now, if you get like a little blowout, the reason I use this wood is to try to prevent those, but if I end up going into a hole that's already been drilled, sometimes I will get a little blowout like that. All you take is some sandpaper and just sand it away. You don't have, I'm not going to, because this is for me. But if you were like selling these at a craft show and you wanted to have like a nice finished back, that's what I would do. All right, let's. Now, Five Below the other day, I saw this desktop. It was like a desktop vacuum cleaner. I almost picked it up for my craft station. And I was like, nah, it's cool. The only time I ever really have to clean things up is if I use glitter. And I'm usually really good with glitter. Or if I'm drilling. And again, I'm usually really good with drilling. So, all right, just to prevent what happened, I'm going to go ahead and take my drill bit out and put it away. Just like the kitchen when you're cooking. Clean as you go, and you won't have as big of a mess at the end of the night to clean up. All right, so we're sealed, we're drilled. Let's go ahead and add our hanger of some sort, okay? So I have options. I have ribbon. I have multiple ribbon. I kind of have twine, but it's all cut, so I don't really have twine. But I also, in my storage unit, I do have actual spools of twine that I could just string twine on. But I have ribbon, so let's use ribbon. So you get to help me pick a color. Purple is kind of going rogue. Let me see what all colors I have down here. All right, this is what I have. I have white, and it has a little iridescent in it. So just, I have white, I have purple, and I have pink. The pink does match a shade that is in those pink flowers. So help me pick. I love your garbage can. Oh, Cindy, let me show you. This is not sponsored, but I'm telling you, these make the best little trash cans for your, especially if you're like me and you craft at the kitchen table. Like, you don't really have room for a full-size trash can, but you do want to do cleanup as you go. That right there, that is a fancy Walmart grocery bag as my liner. And if I want to get extra fancy, I can have a Target one in there too. If I want to go super like, I want to say floral, that's not the word. Like seasonal, I can get one from Dollar General, and I have a nice little pop of yellow color, a little springy yellow. I love this thing. I save these containers. Not every time we have one, but I like to save these for like storage, like to store little things in my craft room. I put packing labels on them so I know what's in it. Okay, so Marie says white. When I did the ornament bar, I had Skylar stand on stacks so I could do multiple at a time. Oh man, that's fun. Pink. Okay, so we got white and we got pink. Becca Boo says pink. So I wasn't feeling the purple either. And that's a lot coming from me because that's my favorite shade of purple too. But we are going to put that away. So this is what we're going, pink and white. I use them as a car trash can. Oh, you know what? I do need a car trash can. I just kind of hang a grocery bag in the car. Like off of the shifter. And it drives Graham crazy. Like, it drives him absolutely crazy. All right, we have pink and white. All right, so that's what the pink would look like with the pink. That's what the white would look like with the white. Pink and white. Got 2 votes pink, 1 vote white. First one to get to 3 votes. Come on, y'all. Help a sister out. Throw it in my nifty little trash can, honey. And it has a lid. Y'all, stop. Stop it. Lori says white. Okay, we're neck and neck. We're neck and neck. We need 1 more vote. Lori says white. Valerie says pink. Becca Boo says pink. Marie said white. Oh, we got a house divided over there. Becca Boo and Marie. All right, Sherry said pink. Let's do it. Let's do it. That was the tiebreaker. I told y'all I'm not. All right, so I like spread my arm out twice. And that helps me get enough for the mantle. That usually is the mantle. So I hold one hand here at my shoulder and I do the other one. I extend it, okay? And then I extend it again, okay? And that's how I kind of measure for my mantle. Because I don't let my garlands swag a lot. I just have them swag a little bit. Because I put other things up with them, okay? Now, wired ribbon isn't the hardest to string through as long as you got a good size hole. But if it does get kind of wonky, we will do the shoelace situation like we did with the twine. So we go through the top to the back, and we're gonna string all the way to the end. All right, we're gonna leave about half a foot. All right, and then we're gonna string again from the back to the front. We want all this extra ribbon to be in the back, okay? And we're gonna be gentle because we don't want to cause any splinters to like. So that's what it's gonna look like. Again, you can use wire, you can use twine. I wouldn't use wire, that'll get expensive. There's so many different ways you can string up a garland. I think the way that most people have seen me do it is with twine, so we're gonna go a little different this time. Okay. Now this edge is gonna get tore up from the floor up, okay? So what you're gonna do is when we're done, we're just gonna trim it and make it pretty and tie knots. Through the top, so we go down through the pretty side. Try not to pull the wire, okay? Try not to pull the wire. And go down through the top. Always make sure you're pulling fabric and not the wire. Now, if you want to make this a little easier, and I always kind of put a fistful of material in between each piece. Even if that's not how it's going to hang, that's just how I kind of package them. It's enough to kind of like stack them. Like flip them back and forth to stack them to store. But also enough room to kind of shimmy back and forth to where when you're hanging them. Look, I just love the thickness of this is about 1.5 inches. I think it's 1.5 inches wide. Yeah, 1.5 inches. All right, down through the pretty side. Hide the extra in the back. Up, back to the front. All right. Down, and make sure you're putting them right side down. There are some times that I have put a garland piece on upside down and I'm like, dang it, I gotta unstring everything. This is why I can't be a cross stitcher, because I will make the one mistake 5 rows in and now I gotta take 5 whole rows out to fix it. My mom's a cross stitcher. I don't have the patience for mistakes. Don't. All right. Last piece. Again, we're going to trim this edge because look, told you it was gonna get messed up. So I'm gonna trim it at an angle just because I feel like that's prettier. And then I'm gonna tie it in a knot just so nothing slides off. And then just spread it out. Okay, and do that to the other side. Trim it at an angle. It really doesn't matter. No one's gonna know that's at an angle but you. All right, and then tie it in a knot. Okay. Clean up your workspace. All right, y'all ready? Look how cute. Ah, caught on my apron. Look how cute that turned out. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Y'all helped me finish March's paint studio projects. We painted, if you're wondering where I painted these to catch the tutorials, we painted this over in the paint studio. This month's tutorial were those flowers and how to paint glitter without getting it everywhere and without it shedding. This glitter has stayed put through sealing, I've messed with all these pieces. This is how I would store it, by the way. This is how I would store it. I would stack them backs to each other, and then I would put them in a Ziploc bag, just like this. Same with this. All that glitter that's on there, there's glitter in the flowers, there's glitter in these polka dots, there's glitter on the doorknob. None of it shedding. None of it shed while we were sealing. None of it shed while we sat and just manhandled it a little bit. And then we also got glitter on that. All right, so there's our porch leaner attachment, our 6-piece garland, and our door hanger. Now, did we need a bow? Marie says, you know, we can try a bow. We can try one. And you know what? If I were to do a bow, it's going to have this ribbon in it, just so that it coordinates with everything. Should we do a bow? Or should we leave it alone? Becca doesn't even like pink, and she picked pink. That is, oh, Miss Lynn said pink too. I like the pink. I do think that it plays really well. It brings the base coat color of those flowers, because the base coat color was that pink. So I feel like it really matched really good with that base coat color of the flowers. Oh, Miss Debbie says she loves the porcelain. I do too. Y'all know me. I love anything that's chubby. Look, that's a chubby carrot. Y'all know all my birds end up being little chubby birds. I love a good chunky, chubby something. All right. Do we need a bow? Also, do you think this needs a bow? Like just a little bow? Not as big as, oh, let's not forget that. Now, hanging this up, I will probably put some felt to cover that. I will probably glue, not hot glue. I'll probably glue some felt just to kind of protect that from scratching the wall. So we took this and made it into this. So they got a 2-for-1 tutorial in the studio. This was our mini tutorial for the month. And this I will probably just hang on the wall, just as Easter decor, spring and Easter decor. I'll probably put it on my gallery wall where I put like seasonal things. Okay, so Miss Debbie says no bow. Valerie says no bow because it covers the piece. Yeah, I agree. I think it would cover, like maybe even, what about a little twine? But I think it would take away from the fact that this is an egg. I think that's where my brain was like fighting with it. Just too cute. Debbie says it's just too cute for a bow. Miss Debbie, I like the way you think. Thank you. I think, does this need like a little, like just a little dainty bow? Just a little one? I like the cute bow tie, no tails, just to see. Okay, so Marie says, all right, we don't have to commit, but maybe make a cute little bow tie. Okay, I don't mind. We've got time. Y'all want to? Anybody against just like doing a little look-see? Doing a little look-see? We can even tie in. We will do the pink though. I think we'll do a double layer. She says no tails. I agree with the no tails. If we do a bow, no tails. Don't even cut the ribbon. I didn't read far enough. So the way I do a bow tie is I fold my ribbon in half. Okay. And I use that as my middle mark. Okay. And I cross over my middle mark. I make sure both free edges cross over the middle mark, and then I just scrunch. Okay, now if I were to do a bow, I would want that pink in this. So it would be a double layer. It would be a double layer. All right, so let's just it would have a pink layer on top of it. But I feel like the brown would it breaks the pink up from the ears and the flowers. So I think the brown is necessary. Hold on. Try and fluff this with backwards. Okay. It's not my best fluffing job. What do we think? What do we think? All right. I see a lot of hearts. I see a lot of hearts. Is that a yes? Is that a yes or no? What about just one ear? Okay, so Chrissy says just one ear. My hand's in the way. Chrissy says just one ear. I do like a little catty corner situation. If this was an actual bunny and I was doing like a girl bunny, that's how I would do it. I would do that. If it was a boy bunny, it would be a bow tie on its neck. So Cindy says she loves the brown. All right, Sherry says she likes it. Cindy says she likes it. Okay, okay. So ear or center? Ear or center? Valerie still says no bow. Okay, Marie says the one ear is cute. The one ear is cute. I think that like doing the one ear maintains the shape of the egg. Maintains the fact that this is, I just feel like I'm in the way. All right. I do agree with, but I just feel like it needs something, as if the glitter wasn't enough. All right, so we got one ear. Cindy says center. First one to get to 3 votes. Debbie says, if you must, okay. Miss Debbie said one ear. That made the one ear, it made the one ear a winner. Okay, so I'm going to trim this up just a little bit because this is a lot of fabric going in one spot. I want a little bit of the pink. I do want a little bit of the pink. Okay, there's 2 different ways that I could do this with 2 layers of ribbon. I can either stack them on top of each other like this and then fold them, or I could fold them individually and stack them that way, like 2 bows, and I'm gonna do it that way. Just because I want the pink to be separated from the pink of the ears and the pink of the flowers. I do not want them touching. I'm with Cindy. I like the fact that the brown is in the back. I like the fact that the brown breaks it up. Becca says definitely one ear. Maybe add a 3D. Don't give me ideas. Don't give me a reason to go to Hobby Lobby. I don't have any 3D eggs, but I bet you the scrapbook section has some little scrapbooking eggs that I could do it as the center. All right, so when I stack them, I do like my inside bow, my top bow to be smaller. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my bow, my ribbon, small. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Smaller than my bottom ribbon. Okay, so there's the way I store my ribbon is I have the tail, I pull the first layer on the roll, and I tuck it underneath, and I tie it down. And it stays. All right, so find the center. So we're gonna fold this in half. Now, when it's cut at an angle like that from whatever project, oh, well, obviously the garland. If I cut the last project at an angle, I go off of the tip right there being what I match up for the center. All right, so I match it up, and then I find the center that way. And then I crisscross. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. I'll scrunch it all together. All right, again, find the center. See, that was cut at an angle. So I'm gonna use this as what I match, corner to corner. Find the center. Crisscross. And I just make sure that they're small. One is smaller than the other. The smaller one is smaller than the other. And if it needs to be adjusted, then I adjust as needed. All right, scrunch. Remember when I said that half a piece can be used for something? Remember that from earlier? Okay, scrunch. Okay, so I have them stacked. Take my twine. Uh-oh, my finger slipped. Take my twine. And I like to tie the twine in the front just because it adds extra flair. I can unravel the twine and make it like little curlicues, or I can just leave the twine like that and just add a little embellishment to the center. Like Cindy said, was it Cindy that said, was it Cindy or Debbie? Who said, it was Cindy, like a little 3D egg, like a little mini egg, like from the scrapbooking section. Don't tie my knot tight until I'm done fluffing the bow, because I can kind of shimmy the loops from one side to the other. Look how cute that bow is. All right, tie it tight. Lock the knot. All right. Now you can staple or hot glue this on. I don't like to hot glue bows unless it's staying inside. So I'll probably staple that on. Look how cute. So that's what it would look like in the center. I agree with everybody that I feel like if we're doing it, it needs to be off to the side. I agree. I also agree that it could have stood alone. It could have stood alone. Let me get my oh wait, we're not using hot glue. We're using staples. All right, again, you want your project to be flat on a surface and not raised up. Okay. Because you don't want your staples like blowing through. All right, remember I said earlier I accidentally smeared just the tiniest little bit of paint pen? That bow's gonna hide that. All right, so I'm gonna take my back bow, I'm gonna separate the loops, and I'm just gonna staple right inside of that loop. Again, separate the loops right inside of the loop, and then fluff my bow. Hide the tails of the bow so that you don't have anything like funky. Okay, and then I'm gonna separate the different pieces of my twine. I'm just gonna pull them apart. There's usually 3 or 4 little pieces of twine that make up the big piece of twine. And that makes an extra little, that gives an extra little added flair without having to. Now, another place you could have added, if you want to add a bow, but you don't want to hide your project, you could have totally added a bow to the very tip top of your hanger up there. So there's our bow. I'm going to trim that twine just a smidgen, just a smidgen. My southern measurements. I don't want them being any longer than my biggest loop. Throw away, clean up as you go. Clean up as you go. There we go. I like it, it's cute. It didn't matter which ear it went on. Did not matter. I love it. It's gonna go on the door. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Now, again, if you're wondering, wait, I didn't see you paint that. I have no, where'd you paint that? I wanna watch. Painted this over in the Paint Studio, which is a private Facebook group that I have. So we painted that. We painted our porch leaner attachment, and we painted our 6-piece garland that all coordinate. They make a 3-piece set. We also made a fun, like, little home decor. You can make this into a wall hanging. You can make this into a doorknob hanging. I might even put it on my china cabinet. Sometimes I like to hang little things on the handles of my china cabinet. So, oh wait, I got a little string stuck in my greenery. Alrighty, that's it. Thank y'all for hanging out with me for your lunch break. I enjoyed it. It was nice little co-working hours. It helped me really knock out some of these things that I have been putting off finishing, like the little finishing things. They're just not the fun part. I've done the fun part. Painting was the fun part. And so sometimes the sealing, the drilling, and the adding hangers just kind of stare at me until I get it done. All right, but thank y'all for coming to hang out with me. Until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.